everyone, and welcome to RBG Esports Podcast. This is gonna be a great start. I think I had you guys muted right off the beginning, but yeah. So hello everyone, and welcome to the first ever podcast, first episode of RBG Cast or RBG Podcast. We'll come up with a name. I don't know. We don't have a name yet.
The RBG Podcast.
Yeah, the podcast.
The currently untitled project.
Exactly. Whatever, we'll come up with something. So yeah, today we're going to be pretty much talking about some stuff that's going to be coming up, some news that you guys need to know about or want to know about, and we'll be talking about some other past things, kind of just going back and forth with it. And we're hoping to possibly do this like every month, at least do it a monthly podcast. Might not always be the four of us, might be other people, but for anyone that doesn't know, I am Randomize, or Josh. I am the CEO and co-founder of RBG Esports. Swan.
Hi, me Swan Jr., co-founder and chief operating officer for RBG Esports.
Beard.
I'm Kyle Malone, otherwise known as Beard Runner in the Discord and anywhere else. I'm the operations manager for RBG Esports.
Right, and then last but not least, my name is Nick Wolf. Otherwise known as Fox McCumulus in game and on the Discord. I'm the community manager for RBG Esports as well.
Yeah, so that's the introductions of us. There'll be other casters that you will see on here later in other episodes. We have already had casters come in and work with us for past projects and stuff like that. So you'll start seeing more faces come along as we start getting these guys more and more involved. But yeah, so I am excited because this is the first time I think any of us are doing a podcast together. I don't know if anyone has actually done a podcast before. I'm guessing yes. Swan. I was about to say, Swan was like the man I was going to bet on. Swan has been very, very involved with a lot of communities, and he's been invited to many, many different channels. So good on you, Swan. So yeah, that is the introductions of us. We were going to have another caster join us today, but the segment he was going to be in was pre-recorded, and we ended up having Nick join us. So he will not be with us, but in case anything does happen, we may have two casters, Ginger Beardman and Squall, join us in case we lose one of these guys or myself. So if you see them, we'll introduce them when we get there. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about some news and announcements, RBG Esports events coming up. We'll talk about RLCS Season 5 and kind of recap the playoffs, about some things that we may or may not thought could have gone well. And then we have a game that is in alpha right now that we'll be talking about, Wormhole Wars, where we got to talk to the developer, or one of the developers. I guess he's the main developer of Wormhole Wars, which is a working title or whatever you want to say.
There's an entire section on their Discord thinking like, all right, what do we name this thing?
yeah and then after their second alpha, they released a thing going like, what do you think of this name and this name and this name? And like, apparently they were getting ones down the board, and I was the only one plugging tens in. But you will get there, because that was a pre-recorded part, but we will be playing that tonight. If anyone is here on Twitch and you're watching live, make sure to leave your comments towards the end. We'll be more than happy to answer some comments and questions to whatever you guys want to talk about. If you want to make sure you don't forget your question, you could tweet at us at RBG_esports and use the hashtag RBGcast, and we can check out those questions. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and you can also use the Twitter or use the comments down below to ask some questions that we can get to in the next podcast. So yeah, besides that, our last thing we'll be talking about is what RBG Esports will be doing and what we did, and kind of recapping on that. So with that, let's move on to news and announcements. As you see in the middle, we have 3 official Hearthstone players signed. That is Innovation, Manny Show, and Run, he said. Swan, do you want to talk a little bit about them?
I mean, yeah, 3 very good players. Innovation's been on the Hearthstone scene for a year now. And Manny Show has been leading efforts to develop an esports community at the University of Oklahoma. Run, he said, is brand new to the scene. She ended up being my first matchup at DreamHack Austin for the Grand Prix. really mechanically strong. All 3 players were very excited to be approached to be on a team. Innovation had been looking to be on a team for a while because he's one of those players. He is ready to make that leap. And with how young we were, taking a gamble and really investing time in Manny Show and Run, he said, is a perfectly safe thing for us to do. So we now have 3 very strong Hearthstone players that can just go out, win events, or place very high and do all that awesome card playing. It's very exciting to see where we were in April to where we are now. It's been awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool how you were able to meet these guys, and we got them on board. I think that it's awesome. And I got to meet Manny Show in person and Innovation. They're both really awesome people. They're really nice to talk to. Innovation is actually from Poland and then moved to America, I believe, when he was 15, he said. So, and his English is actually really good for someone that moved from another country at the age of 15, which is cool because my girlfriend, who also works for the company, she speaks fluid Polish as well. So that will be very interesting when the 2 of them talk. I'll be worried that they'll be saying some stuff behind our backs.
Behind your back. That randomized.
My back, so maybe.
He looks so funny.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to start getting back into Hearthstone myself, just so that I can actually comprehend what our players are doing. I'm trying to like brush up on it and get back to where I understand what's going on. So I can't wait till we start hosting our own events for that.
I was streaming Hearthstone the other day, and Innovation actually came in and watched. It was extraordinarily stressful.
The pressure came on. Yeah, it's Innovation. You said he's like a top 32 player.
He has finished top 32 at 2 events, 2 like tour stop events, and then top 16 at another one. Like he's very good. He's an insanely smart guy. One of the big draws was not even like a esports related thing. He was like world ranked in chess apparently at some point. Like he's just really smart. He's like tactically there. He's able to really assess board state very, very well, very quickly. It's very nice, and he's like a super nice guy too. Like talking to I say it was stressful when he came into my stream when I was playing Hearthstone. He was just like, oh yeah, no, if you'd done like 1-2 things differently, you would have won that match. I'm like, oh, thanks. Like he wasn't being pretentious about it or anything like that. He's a super nice guy, super smart, very talented. Really looking forward to having him really kind of captain our Hearthstone endeavors.
Yeah, like he's actually got 200 IQ.
Yeah. When people bring that up. Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on to our next one. We have an official Rocket League team, and that is Noxus, Zeus, and Dot Bacon. He's Bacon, but he likes to have a period in front of his name for some reason.
Isn't it for like the leaderboards? It like gets you to the top. Like if you're tied with another player, if you have a period there, that puts you first like alphabetically.
Probably.
Yeah, so get to number 1.
Probably. I guess that's why he did it. But I've been. It's really cool to see these guys on board. Zeus and Bacon have been competing in like the ESL events, and they've been around for a while, and they've been doing some pretty good work with another player, Divo. But sadly, Divo has a full-time job and has not been able to really partake in the esports world. I really shouldn't say sad. It's a good thing he has a full-time job, but it's a bummer. Yeah. But it's a bummer that he wasn't able to continue with it. But it kind of worked out for us because I have been following Nox's stream for a while. I believe he was versing either Squishy or Jacob on stream, and I saw this guy doing some freestyling. He was kicking butt. It was awesome to watch, and I was like, whoa, who is this guy? And he had his Twitch in the name. Surprise, surprise. Half of Rocket League's community all is twitch.tv/ in their name. So I went over and checked them out, and he had like maybe 2 viewers, and I was like, this guy's good. Like, I got to keep an eye on him. And he was growing more and more, and next minute I know, I messaged him. I was like, hey man, like get involved with RBG Esports because we're looking for a team, and I would love to have you around. Like, I have been watching you for a while. I basically scouted him. He's like, oh, that's cool. oh, by the way, I just got on a new team with 2 players, Bacon and Noxus, Bacon and Zeus. And I was like, the Bacon and Zeus, the guys I've seen compete in like ESLs and competitions like that. He was like, yeah, them. I'm like, okay. And they're like, yeah, we're interested being the RBG Esports Rocket League team. I was like, okay, let's do this. So we were talking for a while, a lot of conversations back and forth. They were nervous because they had a rough time with a past team that we will not announce their names. But we made sure to make them feel very comfortable here at RBG Esports. I think they are feeling very comfortable in RBG Esports. They're in a competition right now as we speak. They're in a competition called The Climb, where they will be competing against a bunch of other teams today and tomorrow, trying to qualify for Saturday and Sunday. And Saturday, if they make it to Saturday, they're versing 4 invited RLRS teams. And if they can even make it past there and make it to Sunday, they'll be going against 4 pro RLCS teams. So we're rooting on for them. They're ready in round 2. Round 1, they won 3-0. So
actually, they're prepping for round 3 right now. They yeah, no, they got done in by Doodle.
They what?
Which is they got 3-0 swept by Doodle's team.
Oh, all right. So they're 1-1.
To be fair, Doodle is a very good player. Like that's the really nice thing about this event. That's the really nice thing about this event. The Climb from Rival Esports is that the competition for day 1 is a bunch of people from the top 100 leaderboard that aren't on teams. They have their own teams. Like Vanessa McFlex, his team Vindicate is playing, I believe. Doodle's team is playing. Messi's team is playing. There's a lot of unsigned talent that are playing in this competition.
Yeah.
And one of the big things too is Noxus, Bacon, and Zeus. They haven't been playing together all that long. Like they're all individually very strong players. And like I got to play like some private matches with them earlier, and I played with Noxus before, and like they all just have super good awareness of what's going on the field. I mean, that's why they are as high ranked as they are. But I am really excited to see them grow as a team and build chemistry and just be able to hopefully do just as well against those RL, RS, and RLCS teams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I apologize. I'm also doing the Twitter. I feel like an old man already. I'm doing the Twitter.
Doing that newfangled Twitter thing.
Doing the Twitter. Yeah, I'm tweeting as we're doing this as well to kind of keep up to date for anyone that can't watch the competition, because I don't even know if their stream is up yet, to be honest. So we'll see about that. But up next, we have our first official variety streamer, the Musical Gamer. So I'm pretty excited about that. The Musical Gamer is actually one of my good friends. I met him in college, freshman year of high school or college, and I almost forgot. And it was interesting. He pretty much told me like, I'm into video games. I'm like, I am too. This is cool. We should play. And then next one I know, he's like, yeah, I have a YouTube channel with over like 1,000 subscribers. I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I was like, hey, can I do a video with you? He's like, yeah, sure. And it became a hit. And then we did a few other videos together. And then it just became what was known as the Broken Down Gamers, which was the Musical Gamer and myself. And a lot of mishaps and a lot of memories in that. But yeah, it was pretty fun. And he got into Twitch. I helped him start in Twitch, and he's been doing pretty well in Twitch. He averages anywhere between 50 to 100 viewers here and there. Some streams he hits like 300, so he's doing a good job. Wow. And we asked him to join our team. We said, listen, man, like, you know, this company started off of a fraternity. We're all in the same fraternity, and the Musical Gamer is also in the fraternity, which I also pulled him in there too. So I'm kind of just pulling him along wherever I go. I'm just kind of like, you're come with me. So that is how he is. So keep an eye out. He will be around for that. Next thing is we have plenty of events coming up in July. Oh my God. I how do I put the website version on? I'm just going to X this out. I'm getting all these pings coming from Discord. We have a bunch of events coming up in this month, including our first of 3 parts of the Summer Bash, which I will explain a little bit more when we get there. But we do have plans to get some events out there for August and September. We're going to try to get the news out as fast as possible. So keep an eye out in our Discord. If you're not in our Discord, make sure to join it. Someone wants to throw the Discord link in on Twitch for me.
Yeah,
I think the thing works.
Do you have the command?
Does it? Does it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
We're so confident in our technical
No,
ability.
it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's
Darn
fine.
it.
It's all right.
I ruined it. Beep boop. There you go. Beard Runner is actually our bot. Which is actually funny because Beard Runner has been working side by side with our software engineer on creating the bots in our Discord. So if you haven't changed your role yet, go into the Discord and change your role in what game you play so you don't miss any announcements.
Yeah, and if you find any bugs, those definitely weren't me.
It was Cools. So that's it for news. You guys have anything you would like to announce before we start moving on?
No,
We're gonna do a rundown of the events.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on to that. The next thing we are going to be talking about is our events, RBG Esports events, and what do you expect to see in July? Kyle, you want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. So this week is the only week that we're not doing an actual gameplay event since we are doing this podcast. Next week, however, on July 13th at 7 p.m., we will be hosting a Rocket League event for any of our kind of lower ranked players in the Discord or in our community. And it's called the Tune-Up Tournament. And the idea of this tournament is that players of rank platinum or lower will all compete in a threes tournament, and it will be streamed on Twitch. And myself and one of our other casters, Nate, we will be giving as much kind of higher rank advice to those platinum and lower players as we possibly can. So we'll be taking a look at your like team dynamics, your individual mechanics, field awareness, stuff like that, and we'll be giving live commentary to kind of give you some pointers and help you tune up your game a little bit. So that's the tune-up tourney. Tune-up tourney.
Turn up.
That's July 13th. What day is that? I believe that is Friday, July 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
At 7 p.m.
There'll be a lot of bad luck that day.
Yeah.
It is kind of an interesting thing where this kind of came from, the idea of a tune-up tourney to kind of like bring in new players and kind of help them improve their skill. Because when we started this whole like RBG thing, we were just like a Symphonian series based on our like the fraternity that we're all involved in. And we got together all these players, and I think our highest rank at that point was what, Diamond 1? I think Danny was a Diamond 1 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And like we just saw all these players from like silver, gold, platinum just like totally rise to the occasion and improve so much. And we just thought that was so cool, and it'd be cool if we could kind of like outreach that same effect. And so that's kind of like what we're looking to supply here, is because a lot of the competitive natures, especially if we're on Rocket League, you have to be at least, like Diamond 3 or higher, or else you're not going to get anywhere. And so by hosting kind of like a lower ranked tourney like that, we can really reach out to some of the newer players.
Yes, sir. So I'm excited
so
about that.
if you or any of your friends are platinum rank or lower and you want to get some free advice on your gameplay and just want to kind of be on stream and have fun with it, again, that's Friday, July 13th at 7 p.m. And the following week, the following Thursday, July 19th.
Kyle, before you continue with that, I just want to do a big shout out to Zeus, our Rocket League player.
Oh.
I see he's lurking in the stream while playing in this competition.
Oh my god, no.
No, they're in between matches right now. They're in
Got
between
it.
matches.
So shout out to you, Zeus, right now. Love you, man. All right, let's get back on track.
Beautiful.
Continue.
All right, so moving on to the third week of July, Thursday, July 19th at 7 p.m. These are all Eastern Standard Time. Thursday, July 19th at 7 p.m. is our upper ranked Rocket League tournament, and that is for Diamond players and higher. This one's going to be hosted via Smash GG. And we will be opening up a straw poll here soon to determine which consoles we have the most representation for, to determine which consoles we will allow to sign up for that tournament, so we don't have any like crossplay issues or anything like that. But this is just your standard run-of-the-mill kind of Rocket League tournament, and it will also be streamed here on RBG Esports on Twitch. And it'll be we do a pretty professional like stream for it, so it'll have commentary and casters and analysis in between all the games. So that is again Thursday, July 19th at 7 p.m. EST.
And all the dates are in our Discord, right?
Yeah, all of them are in the Discord as well,
Yeah,
in our announcements.
There was recently an announcement about that, so you can catch all of this in our Discord.
Yeah. We're just kind of recapping it right now. And just so to follow up on Kyle, if you want to hear our casting and the style of casting we have, you can check that all out on our YouTube channel. I believe I uploaded all of our season two playoffs of a competition that we did exclusively for our fraternity, our brotherhood. And we'll be doing that again, one more season for them as a tip of the hat for them for helping us start RBG Esports. But if you want to hear how we sound, all of our past events are all going to be on the YouTube channel, including this video, which will also be on the YouTube channel. So you can hear more of a professional style, where some of these other events that Rocket League communities host are quite interesting in their casting. Warhammers. But that's as far as I'm gonna go with that. So yeah, to the next we have two more events that are coming up in July, and I'm going to take over on this one.
Yeah, go ahead and you talk about the Summer Bash.
Summer Bash Part 1. We're doing a 3-part competition, so there'll be one in July, one in August, and one in September. July and August are kind of qualifier events or double elimination tournament. The top 4 teams will qualify for the September end of the Summer Bash event, where they will have a chance to win for pretty hefty cash prize, and we're trying to possibly even get a good chance of actual physical winning prize. We're communicating with a couple of the companies to see if they can sponsor our events and actually give some prizes and giveaways for these events. So you may want to be a part of this one. I would be very excited for this one. So yeah, don't miss that one. It's a double elimination. It's open to everyone, but it is open to everyone. So I would definitely start getting your grinding boots on and practice so that you can play in this event. It will be a 3v3 tournament. Once again, we'll be sending out the straw poll soon on which console this will be on.
I actually went ahead and posted it.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's
so it's in the chat right now. Make sure to vote for it on which one will be, and then we'll see from there.
I'll go ahead and post it in the Discord as well.
Perfect. Thank you. So yeah, that will be part 1 of of 3 parts. So if you qualify in July, you do not have to play in August. You can sit back and watch the stream and keep an eye on your competition for September. So make sure you stay in tune with that. The last thing we have in July is Community Choice Mutators Tournament. We did ask the community, but we didn't get much response. It's okay. We have a small community, so excuse me, I wasn't expecting a huge response. So Kyle here went ahead and actually made a few different choices of mutators that you guys can vote upon, and that straw poll will be coming out very soon. You can go ahead and vote on how you want the game types and everything to be. It's exciting. It's fun. I might play in it. I'm not the biggest fan of mutator stuff. These guys know it. I worry it messes with my gameplay, but something like this, I might just do it for fun. No cash prizes, just for fun, bragging rights. We'll definitely blast your name if you do win, your Twitter if you have one. So get out there and play if you want to get a community shout out. So yeah, that is going to be it for July. More to come for August and September. So anything else you guys want to add before we move on to the next topic?
We're going to mention. Oh no, we can do it down where RBG Esports will be and events will be at.
That's later on.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So with that, we're going to talk about our next topic, and then we're going to take a break from after this one. This one's going to be a little bit of a hefty, heartfelt topic. So get ready for your tissues. We're going to be talking about RLCS Season 5 recaps.
I feel like we're kind of a little bit behind the ball on doing a recap for this.
We're a little behind the ball. We were going to do a podcast literally the week after, but things fell through and we weren't able to. So we're a little far behind, but we're going to talk a little bit about RLCS and see how we feel about it, since all four of us are Rocket League players. And I don't know about these other guys, but I was jumping and screaming during the entire tournament. I had my NRG jersey on because I'm a big NRG fan. But so yeah, the congratulations has to go to Team Dignitas. The roster of Team Dignitas has won RLCS 2 seasons in a row, the World Championships, I should say. But Turbo Pulsa takes 3. And shout out to Ginger Beard Man for subscribing. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. But with that, our top 4 places, Team Dignitas taking first place with $100,000. Fox McCumulus, thank you as well. Shout outs to you, buddy,
Who did that?
for subscribing. Oh yeah, I should do that too, but I'm like signed into RBG Esports, so it'd be hard for me to do it.
It's hard to sub to yourself.
Yeah, right. Second place goes to NRG Esports, winning $60,000. Third place goes to Complexity Gaming, winning $30,000. And fourth place goes to Cloud9, winning $15,000. Yo, shout outs to FFC Squall. That's one of our employees as well. Thank you very much for the subscription. All the subscription, everything, all the subscribes that we get here, that money goes straight back to winning prize pools. So thank you very much. And SiegeMan5, thank you for the subscription as well. Shout outs to you, my man.
Man, all the subs.
Yeah, please keep them going.
Great wall. Just
Oh,
block
man.
it all off with Twitch Prime subscriptions.
Do it. Just do it. Yeah, thank you very much. And it's perfect that it's all Twitch Prime too. So thank you very much, guys, for holding those off for us.
Super awesome.
So the other thing I want to talk about is shout outs to Chiefs Esports Club
Yeah.
being the only OCE team to finally make it to day 3 and make it 5th place. So congratulations to them. So I got a couple questions for you guys. Be ready for this. NRG choke. Did Fireburner really ruin their chances of winning RLCS Season 5? Or was there more to it? Yes.
Yes.
Next question. So let's talk about this. I mean, there was a lot of pressure that happened. We went into a reset bracket, Game 7, and Justin gets the buzzer beating shot, the best shot ever to be seen, running out of boost, able to dunk it down into the goal, tying up the game in the last second. But then that bump happened between Fireburner and Garrett G. Do we really want to blame that all on Fireburner? Like, what? Let's talk about it. Kyle, go right ahead. You look like you're ready to go.
Yeah. Okay. So I have an opinion about this. I don't think it would have even come down to Justin needing to score an overtime shot had Fireburner been playing as if he were on a team for the entire series, especially there toward the end in that last match. I don't know if it was his own conscious decision or if it was his team's decision for him to just be in like aggressive mode. Like, it just seemed like he was trying to play for ball control the entire time and not actually making passes to his teammates or anything. He was just being like a disruptor. And I don't know if that was him just like caving under pressure or if it was a conscious decision. But regardless, the bump at the end, yes, I mean that sucks. It's really unfortunate. That happens to me all the time, but I'm not an RLCS player. But I don't think that would have even mattered, honestly, had he just played like normal for the rest of the match in the series.
So we're saying it's not about the bump. It's just like everything leading to the bump, and then
Yeah, I mean, the bump was definitely a crushing blow, and that's a horrible, horrible, sad
Oh my
way
God,
to go
I can't
out
even imagine.
of the world championship. Like, that's the worst.
Just poor
However,
Justin.
I don't know. I don't know if who was it that he bumped? Was it
Garrett G.
Here's
Garrett
Garrett
G.
G.
Yep.
I don't know. Looking at I looked back at the replay and everything. Like, if Garrett G would have even been able to get to the ball to save it.
That's what
Yeah.
a lot of commentary on the situation has been, is that that bump sucks, but Garrett G really wasn't in a position to do anything with that ball. So a lot of people are like magnifying glassing this bump instead of really examining like the whole stretch of gameplay.
Well, mind you,
So was the loss Fireburner's fault? My opinion, kinda. Yeah. Was it because of the bump? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
the other thing I really do want to talk about that bump in specific is that Fireburner, yes, he bumped. Could Garrett G get back and save it? Who knows? We don't know. He was pretty far out from it. But in reality, Fireburner was out of rotation, which is why I still blame that bump being anything and the reason why Fireburner did lose the game. I do agree with Kyle. He wasn't showing up. He was kind of there for, Friday and Saturday, but then like Sunday, he wasn't there. You can see he was nervous. He was getting tired. I don't know what it is. Maybe jet lag was killing him, but Sunday he just could not click. And Justin and Garrett G stood up to the plate very well and held their end very well. And then, my opinion is because Fireburner went out of rotation and he moved way over to the left, realizing he was out of place, and then bumped Garrett G when he went to rotate back. I think that's really what it was, is that Fireburner wasn't even going to try to cut the ball off. He just realized he was out of rotation. He was going to try to rotate back to net. And at that point, he took Garrett G out in the middle of his rotation, leaving an open net. So in reality, I'm going to go with, Fireburner's choke really did ruin it because it put a lot more pressure on Justin and Garrett G for the whole thing.
I think it's just a symptom
for the follow.
I think that awesome. Oh yeah, nice. I think that's a symptom though of a larger problem. Like once again, you're magnifying that moment of him being out of rotation that one time, and trying to get back to net. I think you're magnifying that a bit too much and not looking at the fact that Fireburner just wasn't playing well. Being out of rotation, he was out of rotation a lot. He's not making good touches. He was doing a lot of things not in a Fireburner manner. So that one moment, we need to get off this one moment. We really do. Like that there's a lot of other things on the plate for NRG right now. Are they going to make a roster shake? Are they going to make a roster shakeup? I don't think so.
Well, actually, from if I saw correctly in the previews, there was an invited team to the climb that's happening right now. Garrett G and Fireburner are on a different team. They're not on NRG, and they're with a different third in this invited competition.
I did see that. I saw that in a tweet. That it looked strange to me, and I didn't recognize the third.
So where's Justin?
Well, that's the thing. It's not even an NRG team. It looks like a legitimate esports team. I didn't do too much research on it because I just kind of saw it on my way while I was like, what's it called, walking to my car. And then I saw that. I went, huh. So I'm kind of curious if NRG actually dropped Garrett G and Fireburner, kept Justin, and looking for a new duo. Well, here's the thing. Besides Fireburner messing up, Fireburner and Garrett G really are just like a power duo. And I have a feeling that if they drop Fireburner, it's not going to be good for Garrett G and Justin. Yeah, Garrett G and Justin, they played amazing together. They could probably become the next power duo. But the thing is that over the 5 official seasons, Garrett G and Fireburner just stuck together so well. And the other thing is, I really feel like Fireburner, he's been doing really well, but I feel like he's been struggling because he even quoted, like, in the past seasons that he's the only person that knows how to play with Jacob. So I feel like when Justin came in the loop, he was expecting this awkward, weird style of game playing, which Justin does have a very freestyle-ish looking gameplay, but I guess he just wasn't expecting a good freestyle weirdish gameplay, which may have thrown him off, especially in the last. I mean, NRG, they pushed the farthest. I mean, when was the last time we saw a North American team come so close to taking RLCS season? I don't remember the last. I think.
Oh man, who was playing Gale?
I think it was season 2.
4.
Season 2 was the only time that I think North America actually took. I think it was season 1 or season 2 where North America took an RLCS, but then ever since it's been EU, and 3 years in a row of EU's success has been Turbo Pulsa. You know, he's a 3-time, and his first time he won an RLCS, he was a sub. He wasn't even the player. He was a sub. You know, so I'm curious to see how this is going to work. I mean, Justin is definitely going to be a threat to whoever he does end up being with next season. If it is just NRG, whoever he's with, he's going to be a threat. And I got nervous about NRG choking at the end because of the fact that they choked during the national or NA finals. So I did call that. But speaking of choking, another thing I really want to talk about, Vitality coming in second for EU's finals and then coming in 10th place in RLCS, tied with Tainted Minds, who really, they did pretty decent for another OCE team, but what happened to Vitality?
Sometimes it's just not on, man.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever been a super consistent team. When they're on, they're really on, but when they're not, like it can go downhill pretty fast, which is kind of what we saw there.
What we saw, yeah.
Well, I mean, you can look at it this way. NRG went undefeated in league play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they won 7-0,
and they went 7-0. And did they win Worlds? No,
they didn't even win nationals or NA again.
Yeah, they didn't even win NA. So sometimes it's just not on. Like you can be the best EU team, and then it's just not there. I don't have a lot of experience with this, but I mean, Beard and you, Josh, the guys that play at a super high level, can probably attest to. Sometimes it's just you're not getting the touches you want. Things just aren't clicking the way they should be. It happens. It happens in every field that has some kind of competitive nature to it, or some kind of need to be perfect. We're all in a music fraternity. We've done recitals. Some recitals are not good.
Nope.
Even though the weeks of preparation have been awesome and your run through was fantastic, the actual day of the performance, the chops aren't there. So
yeah,
it happens.
And just like in music recitals, like mistakes can compound and start building and building and building, and then you start tripping over yourself and each other.
I don't think people put a lot of pressure, especially with these pro teams. Like they're putting a lot of time. They're really good at these games, but at the same time, there is so much accumulating when people are playing like this, especially in a game like Rocket League, where like every little mechanical shift that you do has such an effect on the entire outcome of the game. Like if you go to like take a ceiling shot or whatever, ceiling shots really aren't that hard, especially when at the level of the pros. Every time you go to take a ceiling shot, just in like free play, you're not going to make it. No one's just going to make it 100% of the time. And so like, you may go undefeated in league play, but it's not just another game after that. It's like every other game is its own thing you need to really, really focus on and really, really put forth your 100% effort in order to play the same way.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things I personally love about Rocket League compared to a lot of other esports. It's kind of unpredictable. You know, it's the way the tides turn so much in this esport compared to others. I mean, besides the fact that the roster of Team Dignitas is a 2-time champion, it's still hard to call who would take it from the beginning. When you watch some other esports, you can kind of almost tell, like, there are some teams that are just stacked, and you know, like, all right, when we watch this event, just keep an eye on this team. Like, they're going to take it. I mean, back when I was big into the Halo esports, back in Halo 2, Halo 3, you kind of knew who was going to win from literally the first day. Just the way they came back, everything. I remember for Halo 2, Final Boss had like a huge run, and then Halo 3, it was kind of like between Final Boss and then Instinct, and then towards the end of Halo 3, it was Straight Rippin versus SK and TD, Triggers Down. So yeah, I can't believe I still remember all this.
I'm just thinking, like, I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, like we could see who was coming up, and that's, I think, what's so weird for me is just being involved in esports for so long, always being able to call who's gonna win. And Rocket League's like the one esport where I just can't call it. Like, I just watch it and I'm like, I can't wait for this weekend because it's just gonna be a lot of excitements of up and downs, you know. You even hear the casters say it. They're always just like, 1 second you think it's one thing and then it's the other thing. They can never get their predictions right. And it's like the only esport that I know where predictions are like less than 50% correct. So I think that's quite awesome. And I think that is very cool about it. But so what do we think we're going to be seeing in the future of RBG, not RBG Esports? What do we think we're going to be seeing in the future of Rocket League? I mean, they're doing the climb today.
RBG Esports.
Yeah, exactly.
No, for real. Like, RBG Esports is going to be in the future. Well, okay. Here's the thing. Let's look at the climb for a little bit. I found that third player. So there's a non-RLCS team. It's made of RLCS players, but it's Garrett G and Fireburner and Timmy Faladun from Counterlogic Gaming.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the teams. G2 is an invited team for Sunday as well, along with
Cloud9.
I don't know who the fourth is, but no, I don't know, man. After seeing how our team played at Sway, and that was like the first showcase of what they can do. I don't see a problem with them making top 4 in their pool, because the way it looks like right now, they're not doing like traditional Swiss. They're doing 4 pools. The top 4 from every pool will progress to day 2.
Yeah.
And then double
I'm not too
elimination.
worried about it.
And then they're up against Allegiance, Space Station Gaming, Ghost,
and Ghost
Gaming,
you're right.
Ghost and
not Ghost. Secret. Sorry.
Is it Secret? No, I just saw
What's the question mark?
I just saw the.
Oh, no, Ghost. You're right. Great. Secret is in EU. Sorry.
And FlyQuest.
And FlyQuest, yeah. Ugh, I'm getting literally EU and NA like mixed up left and right. You know, when you think of a team like Counterlogic Gaming, they're a North American based team in Dallas, but in Rocket League, they're an EU team. So it's
the same with Complexity. Complexity is based in Dallas as well, and their team is EU.
Did I say Complexity or did I say another team?
No, you said Counterlogic.
Oh, I meant to say Complexity. Team Dignitas.
Because that's what threw me for a loop last season with Gale Force. Gale Force is like on their, I guess, now gone website, because that's gone, by the way.
Well, they're apparently back.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess Heroes of the Storm has always been their main focus. But on their website, like the tagline is a premier North American esports organization, and their Rocket League team was EU.
Yeah. And but apparently they're back, and I believe Scrubkilla, who is finally of age to compete. From what I heard, he's on Gale Force. That's what I heard from his stream. I kind of missed the announcement.
There was a mention of something on like one of Johnny Boy's streams, and he made it very clear that anything stated right now are rumors, and we should not take stock in them.
Okay.
So that means everything's true.
Everything is true. Nothing is a lie.
I mean, to be completely honest, it would be insane. I'm just throwing this out there. How insane would it be if like they sent Justin to EU or brought Scrubkilla over to NA and those two teamed up, like 2 young players, 15 and 16, taking over the world? You know, just
that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, but 2 young players, 2 like 16-year-old people are not going to move their entire lives to the other part of the world to do that kind of thing.
You haven't been doing a lot of research in esports, my friend. There are a lot of people, including the Koreans, who move from country to country. It's kind of a good thing you brought that up, because that's a lot of things that a lot of people don't know. There are a lot of players from other countries that move over to other countries a lot, especially North America. All the League of Legends teams are half of the League of Legends North American teams are not American. They are from another country who they offer them a salary, and then had to get the parents' rights and get a translator to translate the rights to the parents to then get the kid who's like of just age to work in America, which is like 16, to compete.
All right. I did not know that.
Yeah, especially in games that are like region locked,
Mhm.
Rocket League, like League of Legends. Hearthstone's easier because you can choose your server in the Battle.net client.
150 ping because you're playing on someone across the world.
Yeah,
Doesn't really matter in Hearthstone.
doesn't. Yeah, no, the APM is so low that it doesn't matter. But like in region locked games like that, Chris brought up a good point. Like for StarCraft 2, people were like team housing was a thing to bring foreign players to come play in North America. And like there is, at some point, I guess we could talk about this since we're an NA team. There is an idea or a thought floating around in the ether, I guess, that competition in NA is easier than it is in Europe and in Asia, depending on the game.
I'm going to OCE.
There's not enough people in OCE. That's a real thing. Like the people that like grind ones or like grind comp duos in Rocket League for OCE, there's not enough people to get points from.
Yeah.
So you have players that are really good that have to suffer with like 150, 200 ping because they have to come play in US East to get to steal NA points, basically.
Oh, it blew my mind when CJ from OCE, he's only champ 2 and he's dominating all the way to, through RLCS. And I'm like messaging on CJ's only champ 2. What is this? And they were like, dude, OCE, there's no one there. Champ 2 is the grand champ. I'm like, basically,
you have to play a lot of disadvantaged games. Yeah, you have to play a lot of disadvantaged games to even get those points. It's so hard.
Yeah, seriously. All right. So do we have anything else we want to talk about RLCS? I mean, keep an eye out for RBG Esports. I really do think these guys are gonna make it.
My last you talked about like how excited you were watching RLCS. Mm-hmm. Watching that game with a live British crowd was unbelievably awesome.
Oh my god, yes. My god, yes.
It makes me want I'm going next year. Next summer I'm going to be there. We should all go. We're all going to lead chants. Oh, yeah. It's going to be baller. It's going to be fantastic. I am so excited to do that.
I'm actually really upset.
I'm hearing about this.
Yeah, I'm actually really upset that season 4 was in Washington DC, excuse me, which is like 3-4 hour drive for me. It's not that far at all. And season 4 was there, and one of our other employees, Nathan, was like, yo, season 4 finals in Washington, D.C. Let's go. And I'm like, I'm down. When is it? He's like, it's November 14th. I'm like, that's one of my best friend's birthday, and I can't go because I already booked a hotel to go hang out with him at a casino. New Jersey problems. We got AC, Atlantic City. So pick and choose.
Hey man, I drove 12 hours to go see RLCS season 4 in DC. And
you went?
Oh, you were there?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, that's right. That's where you got your jacket.
Yeah.
It's literally sitting right behind you.
Right back there.
Oh, I'm so jealous, man.
So I agree with you, Swan. Like, especially in the finals, that UK crowd was like
that was amazing.
However, I did kind of miss like all of the troll posters and signs.
There were some.
There were some, but
there was a rubber ducky. I saw the rubber ducky a lot.
For all the people sitting behind the announcer.
Oh yeah, they were just lifting it up right behind.
Yeah, holding up thought bubbles next to the casters' heads and everything. Yeah.
One of the recent updates for the game, they're like really incorporated a more like live fan feel to the game, which is I thought was really cool. I do
enjoy that.
And that's one of my favorite things about watching like Premier League or La Liga or Bundesliga is hearing those crowds chant during matches for I guess we'll call it football. But having that for Rocket League was insanely awesome.
Yeah,
like you get even watching it on the screen and hearing the chant, you just get super pumped, super hyped, and it really elevated the viewer experience and the fan experience overall. It's so cool.
I honestly, sorry, go ahead.
When we were in DreamHack, Swan and I, we were watching the collegiate play, and it wasn't nearly as high as something like the RLRS or RLCS, especially in RLCS. But it was just like even like some of the simpler goals, the crowd just like loses their minds, and we're sitting there like we're standing off to the side, and we're just like we're getting like giddy as we're watching. They're like, this is so.
Oh yeah, watching people. Well, currently with the current climate of how esports is progressing, hitting college and hitting high schools now, watching people get excited for a video game you're not playing, something you're not actively doing, watching it like a football game, watching it like a baseball game, watching it like basketball, is really awesome.
Yeah,
it's so cool. It's so cool to see that. Like there was for DreamHack Austin, the PUBG Invitational that they did for squads. Fox and I were Nick and I were walking down the concourse, and something was going down, and Shroud and Dr. Disrespect got. Like, it's like another team just like came up and got them during duos, and it was like the entire, like there was 200, 300 people watching this go down, and they all started screaming. It was yeah, you go from down here to like up here in like 2 seconds. It was 0 to 100. Awesome. Yeah.
It's so,
0 to 100.
Cool too, because like if you ever watch like Shroud's stream when he plays PUBG, he's just like
chilling. He's chilling.
You just killed like 3 people in a row. He's just sitting there, and like even like when you're playing, like when I'm playing Rocket League, I'll just be playing I'm in a ranked game, just kind of sitting there. I'll score some like ceiling shot. I might go like get a little excited there, but other than that, there's not much excitement.
Yeah.
There's no one watching.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that was cool. F1. Cool.
And to see people like legitimately outwardly excited about this, it's just it's a totally different environment. It's so cool.
I do want to say 2 things before we start switching over to the next topic. One, I was actually in the car the other day driving on Tuesday after the sad Colombia game where Colombia choked to a penalty kick. In soccer, for anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Go England.
Yeah. And it was really interesting because when I was driving around, I just saw a lot of yellow. And I was like, wow, that is a lot of Colombian jerseys. And I looked at my girlfriend and went, can you imagine? I really see it happening, but can you imagine in the next few weeks, or not in the next few years, we'll actually start seeing like esports jerseys being walked around normally. People will wear them to school. People will wear their esports team's jersey, cheering them on at, a collegiate game. Like, this is something that's going to happen.
I'm of the opinion that in the next within the next 5 years, you can go to Target and buy a Cloud9 jersey.
Oh,
yeah,
so
like
cool.
that's gonna be a thing. You're gonna be able to go to Walmart and go, let's. I'm going to go see my nephew. Let me go grab him this NRG jersey. Like that's gonna be a thing.
Yeah,
The companies like Reebok, like Nike, like Under Armour, they're gonna get in. They're eventually the licensing deals will happen, and we'll see deals like that, and it's gonna change the landscape a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And the last thing I do want to say so that we move on. I loved the fact when they interviewed an OCE team and they were like, I love it how we're in London now, so we don't have to always hear USA, USA. And the London crowd started cheering for us and started screaming, USA, USA. I was like, I hope he didn't forget that like a lot of Americans traveled to London to see this event. Like, I was watching tweets up the wazoo from American viewers saying like, who's going, looking for roommates, blah, blah, blah. I was like, this is amazing that people would pay this much money to fly to another country to watch their favorite people play a video game. I love when people try to talk and say video games is the new, it's been confirmed that video games is an addiction. It's like, well, you know what? There's a lot of other addictions out there I think we should be worrying about right now over video games. It's not like tobacco and that stuff has been around for so long. No, let's make a big news thing that video games is an addiction because Fortnite ruined it for all of us.
But before we move on, the climb. Let's get an update on the climb. RBG Esports just swept Boy Bet 3-0.
Let's go.
Ooh,
Let's go.
2-1.
Keep going.
USA.
Keep it up.
USA. One more game. Oh man, I'm excited about that. Also, before we go any farther, I just want to do a quick shout out. Thank you, Noxus, for the follow. Wow, you just followed our stream, man. I just realized. Yeah, and thank you for the host as well. PRI 101998 or 1998. Thank you for the follow as well. Make sure to follow if you are new, so that you don't miss anything, especially because next week we do have an event coming up. But with that, we are going to be moving on to our next subject. This was pre-recorded, so if you have any questions or anything for this, hold them off to the end. We could probably answer a few questions. You can also tweet at RBG_esports and use the hashtag RBGcast. If you have any questions, we'll be keeping an eye on our Twitter. But with that, further ado, we are going to move on to our interview with the main dev, Ian, of Wormhole Wars. So here we are.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Everyone that is joining us here, we are doing a pre-recorded version of this interview. I have Ian Cardinal Soldier, the one of the devs for Wormhole Warfares, and he just, as well as the rest of the team, they have been having 2 alphas out, and they have had some game showcases at like DreamHack Austin, where Fox and I got to see and meet Ian. So Ian, how are you? And welcome to the podcast, our first ever.
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you a part of this. We're really excited to have you here because when I first heard about the game, I got super excited that there was going to be like another Halo style game. And then the fact that there's going to be Portal thrown involved, I just got excited and I just wanted to be a part of it. So I'm glad that you gave us the chance to play your game and that we get to actually talk to you. So
exactly.
Thank you, man.
Somebody had to make a shooter with portals in it, right?
Exactly.
It had to happen eventually.
Exactly. Had to happen. All right. So let's just ask a quick question, Ian. Where are you from? How did you get yourself into gaming, and how did Wormhole Wars come into development, I guess?
Yeah. So I'm from the Bay Area, from Atherton, California. I got into gaming, I think I was like 7 or 8 when I got a Nintendo 64. That was my first system.
Solid.
But when I really got into gaming and got, addicted was when Halo 2 came out and I got Xbox Live. And I remember like my parents wouldn't pay for it at first, so I kept getting different free trials. You could get a 1 month free trial.
Yeah.
So I had like 3 different accounts, just month after month. I had to keep starting over at level 1 and kept trying to get to 50, but never did. But yeah, I got super addicted there, had my clan and everything. And then Halo 3, same thing. I got really into Halo 3, waited in line at GameStop at midnight to play and beat the game. And I did get to 50 in Halo 3, thankfully. But that's how I kind of got into gaming. And then when I was in college, I went to Stanford with my co-founder. Both of us were studying computer science and didn't really have a games program at Stanford. It was just general programming and graphics. I had this idea. I really wanted to make a shooter that was basically my old school Halo, like I loved, but with the portal mechanic being the unique twist. So I actually did that as my senior project, just for like a 10-week thrown together, learn Unreal Engine type of thing. But that already in its really early and rough state was really fun. So a couple years later, when I was getting my master's at Stanford, and thinking about what I wanted to do full time after, I decided, I'm going to revisit this idea I had, and start over from scratch, but basically with the same premise of Halo meets Portal.
Wow.
So this has been your brainchild for way longer than it's been actually in development.
Yeah. So there's I have a very early version of this. None of that is actually part of the current build, other than a little bit of math that I had to calculate before.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this has been an idea I've had for, I think a lot of people have had this idea actually, but for years.
That's actually really cool because that's kind of the same background as how Portal originally started. It started as just a college project, I believe, and then from there it became a full-fledged game. So it's kind of cool that you're making a Portal type game ish, and it was kind of developed in the same way. Just you also liked Halo, so that's really neat about that.
And actually, I remember early on, we've been doing playtests forever. You know, early on it was just with like friends and friends of friends, and you know, early on there was a debate of like, all right, what type of shooting mechanics should this game feel? Because originally it was like it didn't really have a feel to it; it was just very generic shooter. And it was like, okay, do we want to have this have sort of a Call of Duty feel or a Quake feel or a Halo feel? And there was like a big discussion probably like 10 weeks into development. And some people were, you know, adamant like, oh, it has to have a Quake feel. It's got to be fast paced. It's got to, you know, it's got to feel like Quake in a real tournament. And then, you know, I was like, you know, and some other people like me were like, no, this should have a Halo feel, you know. And that's what we ultimately went with, which I think is great because I do think there are a lot of gamers out there that miss that old school Halo feel. And if you want Quake, you know, Quake is already out there for you.
Yeah, there's still Quake to this day, whereas Halo has been kind of, I guess we could say, 343 Industries started drifting away from the good old Halo days into this kind of more futuristic than it really is. And
more Call of Duty feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a little more run around. Yeah, a little run around, button mashy-ish kind of game. Which, you know, don't get me wrong, like it's still a good game, but I still like the old days of just being able to. You had your BR, it's you and 3 of your teammates just running in the map and doing something about it.
And it really like, I like how going with the old-fashioned Halo feel rather than like a Quake type thing, because you'd mentioned like Quake, it's going to be really fast-paced, and when you think about Wormhole Wars, like, you know, jumping through portals, you're shooting people, it's going to be super fast-paced. But more the lean towards the Halo type feel, it really balances out the speed, I think, and leaves a lot more room for competition, which I really like.
Yeah, I agree, 100% agree. All right, so that's awesome. Glad for cool little background. Nice to hear. So I have a giant list here, and I'm gonna try to read down as much as I can so that we can actually get into some of the questions. This is some of the stuff that I have noticed. As I've told you in person, Ian, and as everyone knows, that anybody that knows RBG Esports or the past of what us have done as work, everyone knows I've competed in Halo for 10 to 12 years. It's been a running joke.
Wait, you were a competitive Halo player? I didn't know that.
Exactly. That's the joke. Because I kept repeating it during season 1 of a Rocket League competition we held. Bad habit of mine. And so everyone knows I've been involved in Halo since Halo 1 myself. I've gone competitive in the last season of Halo 2 in 2006. When the finals was actually in Vegas and it was Final Boss versus Carbon. I still remember that because it was the first year that Carbon was held back. Or no, Carbon beat Final Boss and then Final Boss came and just destroyed Halo 3. I still remember it. I can go on days of the good old MLG days of Halo.
Yeah.
So here's some pros and cons I got going on that I have written that these guys have looked at and a few other people have. First point, flow of the game. Like you said, it's not Quake, it's Halo. It's great. It feels a good combination of Halo 2 and 5. If anything that's close to the Quake, it's the jump. And I like how you have a little bit of the boost, which I was talking about. I love the compensation of a low jump with a small boost pack to help you with the portals. Weapons are smooth. BR and AR are just a great feeling. Pistol, smooth. I love those weapons. Shotgun actually feels good. It's not OP in this game, or it's been getting more and more.
That's my favorite gun in the game, is the shotgun, actually.
Shotguns in any game are super hard to balance too, so it's really awesome
and the fact that you got the distance down of like how well it could be, I really do appreciate it. Pantheon has a nice Foundry feeling to the map, and Foundry was like a good Halo classic. I mean that map was in Halo 2 and Halo 3, remade in Halo Reach. And they even tried doing it for Halo 4. So when I saw that map, I just got excited.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. Dorado has a neat idea of a mansion feeling room with one big center room to players to duke out for the Rockets. I like that idea. You can play close combat, far combat. There's a good mix of it. Tundra has a very nice factory feeling environment. Could feel a little tight in some spots, and sometimes I feel like some players can get lost, which is kind of funny to watch players run in laps. I've also included in that players get lost in the bottom part where you just kind of run in circles because you don't realize the small holes.
Planning to address because a lot of people get stuck down there.
Yeah. All right, so take that off the list of questions. Olympus, that is like my favorite map. Mine love too, yeah. Olympus. Love the small floating pod at the bottom of the entire map to create momentum for other portals. Great flow, multi-levels. It's open and closed, just the nice balance that we want to see in Halo-like game. So Olympus has probably, in my opinion, the best potential to really, really show off like what Wormhole Wars or whatever you guys decide to name it, because I saw after the second alpha it was like 50 names. I'm like, that's nice. I realize I'm not helping them by putting a 10 after every single name.
Most people put ones, so we appreciate the 10.
Oh, okay. It's just I like the name Wormhole Wars. It's just so hard to say. Say that 5 times fast. You're not.
It's not very easy to like anagram.
I hate the name,
like Rocket League is RL and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's WHW. It's like it kind of feels like a wannabe, wrestling. But game modes, fantastic. Free for all, always. Yeah. You can't mess up free for all. Team deathmatch, phenomenal. I still have a bad habit of calling it Slayer. I'll get into it. I'll expect to hear the word Slayer, and I'm like, oh. That's right. This is not actually Halo. Domination, still love that game type. I'm an objective player. When I competed in gaming in Halo, I was focused on objective. King of the Hill, nice. Love the rotations every minute, the way it should be. Teabag Confirmed is hilarious. When you told me about it in LAN and then we played it, I was like, this is a great game. Really wish there's a way to get CTF, Oddball, and Demolition in there if you guys could.
Yeah, we've got plans to add more game modes. No guarantees of which one is next. We're not really even thinking about it because it's more like, hey, we've got enough game modes right now for an alpha to build on, and it's not that hard to add new ones. So it's sort of like we want to get our fundamentals down, get our matchmaking solid, ranking system. There's a lot of time and there's a lot left to do. We'll definitely add at least one or two more game modes, if not more than that, by launch. So we will see.
Awesome. So do you guys have any other pros you would like to mention to Ian as well, or have we nailed it on the dot?
In terms of pros, I think you pretty much covered it all. Like Pantheon Dorado, everything like being a really good flow, everything having some really good situations that you can get yourself into.
So we're gonna transition over to, I put cons. They're not really crazy cons. They're just more of, I guess, me bickering and these guys listening to me bickering about it a lot.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, so the controller. Plenty of changes, and that's why
I want to leave the call halfway through.
I'd rather address it now as an alpha than it's already launched, and I'm like, oh, come on.
Totally.
So for me, since I'm an old Halo player, controller is really important to me. The controller to keyboard and mouse balance feels a little unstable, just because I know you guys are trying to implement and balance some things. A lot going on for a controller player, but I feel like a few tweaks can change it. One of the examples I think would really help is, instead of having a vertical and horizontal sensitivity for a controller player, to just kind of see if you guys can emulate the old, like pick just a Halo, like maybe Halo 2, and just kind of emulate each sensitivity from 1 to 10, just for the controller players. Because if it's kind of like a Halo game, so why not copy? I guess not the words copy, but use what isn't broken. And Halo 2, in my opinion, had the best sensitivity.
Well, so I actually did try to look at Halo for in terms of like acceleration. So like I actually sat down and like timed to the best of my ability. Like, okay, how long does it take to do a quarter of a turn? How long does it take to do half of a turn? How long does it take to do a full turn? Once I'm at full speed, how long does it take to do 10 turns, at full speed? And I was able to actually like plot that on a graph and, try to get it close, at least in terms of acceleration. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely good feedback. Like I do remember like the earlier Halos, it was very simple. It was like, are you on sensitivity 3 or 5? I think I was on 5.
I was on 3. I was always either 3 or 2. But that's just because I have a jerky thumb.
Even something like having the simple number scale and then having like a sub menu where if people really want to get into that, they can put like a multiplier on the vertical or the horizontal motion.
And to be completely honest, if we really want to dive into this really quickly, so many people are getting into so much of the customizing controllers that, Razer and even Microsoft themselves have like the Elite controllers where you can literally pinpoint how you want your controller stick sensitivity to work. So I feel like as the developer side, I feel like it would just be better if you just gave us a simple 1 to 10 and then let us go and customize our controller to fit that sensitivity. That's just me personally as a player. I think that would work better because then there's less of me having to go into a private match and go, oh, which one is it? I can't figure it out, because that was me during some of the private matches. I'm just like, this is not working for me. But the other thing I also wanted to say for possibly an option for a controller player, you can do it for keyboard and mouse as well. The aiming in or aiming down scope, I feel like there should be an option to either toggle or hold, because right now it's on hold.
We're gonna add that. There's that, and there's a lot of little things like that, and then also same thing for crouching. So that's on our list of things to do. Because I know, I should have done this actually, because I immediately Halo 4 and 5 switched back to the old like right stick to zoom.
And that's what I did.
So I know that's probably impossible right now.
I personally just dealt with holding it and just said I'm gonna get used to it because I know it's only alpha, and I know once this game really does come out, I'm probably never gonna see Rocket League again. But yeah, I know I saw you guys were having the grenades come in, so I was like, oh great. So I'm keeping that on my left trigger to kind of get back into that feeling, and it works out perfectly. A couple other things I guess it's signals at the moment, so there's no signal to tell if a player is absolute or one shot. Which, if for anyone that doesn't know what that means, if you're kind of new to this world, it basically means the shield is broken, and you just take one more shot to the head, especially with a BR to kill someone. So there's no indication of flash for yet.
Definitely. No, I mean, I agree. I mean, our health is definitely different than Halo's. It's not the same where it's like headshots. Headshots do more damage, but it's not like Halo where, you're in this state of no shields and you need a headshot to finish them off. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
So, but we definitely do want to have some sort of indication of like, all right, this player has low health, try to finish him off.
I think it'd be easier just for like players to be able to see it and make that a call out. I do love the fact that there is like a little ding sound when you hit the guy in the head. It just makes it so much more satisfying when you actually hit him in the head. It's like it's not even that you just see it; you just heard it. Like you literally hear that.
Especially using the SMG, and you just get the like the.
It's insane. One of the big things that throw me off: press to pick up instead of hold to pick up. I was hoping you guys would have either an option to switch it or to have it just clearly as a hold to pick up, because in classic Halo, it was a hold to pick up, and there's so many times where I reload and I accidentally pick a weapon up, and I'm like, oh, where did it go? And I dive for it. I was hoping that would be a thing.
Definitely. That's another thing we've thought about a lot of this stuff. We're definitely prioritizing mouse and keyboard right now, and I think we actually briefly did have it hold to pick up, but for a mouse where it's a separate button from reload or from keyboard, it's a separate button anyway. And if you're doing a quick jump like across the ledge and you have to hold it on your mouse, like, or on your keyboard. That was frustrating. So we opted as a sort of temporary, let's turn that off, but eventually we'll bring it back, since on like a controller it's the same button as reload.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, maybe just have an option that people can switch, like toggle and crouch, or toggle and hold. You can do the same thing as a press and hold. I think that would probably be the best for players.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, so I got 3 more things here really quickly that we can bang out. Can't pick up a second weapon. I don't know if you guys you guys probably know this, but if you are only starting with just a BR, you can't pick up a second weapon. You have to drop your main weapon. So if you start your game with just a BR, you don't have a secondary weapon. If you go to pick up a sniper, you drop your BR.
Gotcha.
Right. So I figured that was just a bug.
Yeah, that's a bug. I'll write that down.
Yeah, and I just want to throw that out there right now.
I didn't even know you could start with only one weapon.
Yeah, you can turn off your second weapon, because a lot of people were trying to emulate MLG, where it's just a BR start, and then no one picked up power weapons. It was just, the only time you picked up a power weapon, it was rockets. You stood where you picked it up, you shot it at people, and then you picked up your BR again, because at that point, you're just weaponless. Another thing is some maps have random holes. I don't know if you guys are going to look into developing and changing your maps again. I've lost so many fights because I've just accidentally stepped into a hole that was in the middle of the map. That just, it put me to a second level or another level, but it just threw me off. I don't know if that was like a actual design focus to kind of change
To have a second
that.
opinion, I actually disagreed with that point. I'm just like, all right, that's probably just map awareness. Like, the developers probably put those holes there on purpose.
Yeah, which is what we were confused about, which is why we wanted to bring that up.
Let's talk specifics.
So, for example, Olympus, there's a couple spots in the map where I can't remember off the top of my head, where you can like run up a ramp, and then there's like one room, and then you run up another ramp. There's like a little square hole in the room that you can be in the middle of a fight and just fall right into. And then there was another map that had that as well. I believe it's Tundra. Tundra has 1,000 holes all over the place where you're in the middle of fighting and you just fall right down. And I'm just like, whoa, where did I go? And I wasn't sure if that was a designer choice or not.
Yeah, I think for Olympus it definitely is.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what you're referring to. I mean, the holes on Olympus, there's kind of in the bottom center, there's little holes to drop down to where the rocket is.
Yes. There's smaller rooms where it's just like a quick hole for you to jump in.
Tower?
Yeah. No.
There's 2 towers on each side. That it's kind of like a 3-story tower.
Yeah. I wish I was able to take pictures of the game.
I mean, those are the only holes that exist as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, what I will do next time when you guys open up the alpha, I will take a picture of every hole, send it to you guys of every hole I fell down in the middle of a BR map.
Sure.
And then the last thing I
definitely agree about Tundra though. Tundra needs some work, and it is getting work done to it.
Great. Yeah, no, and you know that's the best part about being able to help you guys through the alphas, go through this and kind of see what we spot as good and bad and what we can get fixed before things go wrong, and kind of idea.
Totally.
And then we did answer the last one where I had as I was confused if BR is a 3-shot or a 4-shot. There were some times where I killed a dude in 3 shots, and there was sometimes it took 4 shots to kill a guy in the head. So, but you did answer
bursts or like actual bullets.
Bursts.
Okay.
Yes, I'm talking Halo burst.
Yeah.
Oh, so it is 3.
Okay.
It's
3. But it's been going. Did you play in the playtest like 2 days ago?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And that's where I got confused, because I played in the playtest and I got a 3-shot, and I was like, "Whoa, did I glitch?"
No, you're just bad at every other engagement.
No, apparently.
Yeah, that's something that we're debating between. Like one of the things we did that we might do even more so at this playtest versus last one is we brought like the actual burst is closer together. So for a given burst, those 3 bullets there's less time in between, just so that it's easier to land all 3 of those bursts. Because that was one of the hard things, was if somebody's moving, I might be bursting at you, but maybe I only hit 1 out of the 3 for a
Right.
given burst, or 2 out of the 3.
right.
So we did that, and it helped. But I think we want to get that burst even tighter, and then potentially give it a buff. But we'll see.
Right, so you went from the Halo 3 burst to the Halo 2 burst, and that makes me extremely happy. Because the Halo 3 burst was like giant, and the Halo 2 burst was like right there. And it's just like, what was the point of the crosshair if my bullets were going outside of the crosshair?
Right.
So glad to hear that. Is there anything else you guys have noticed that you wanted to bring up to his attention?
In terms of mechanics, like gun mechanics, I wanted to talk a little bit about the SMG. Do you have any comments? Are there like changes coming up that you immediately want to kind of get out of the way?
That's actually something that we've been talking a lot about, because it's kind of like it's kind of in a bad state right now, where it's like very, very situational, right? It's kind of barely better than the AR up close, but that's about it. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna play around with it, but it definitely needs a buff. We're thinking of like making it less recoil as well as more accuracy. We still want to maintain this kind of like high rate of fire, low accuracy type of gun. But I do think, it's just too much right now, where it's just like not even worth picking up almost. We were gonna buff it for this past playtest, but we figured it would be nice, since I don't know if you guys saw like the new SMG mesh. Did you see on social media?
Yes, I
We
did.
thought it would just be kind of like more fun to have the new SMG, have the buff come out alongside with the new mesh, even though like we were aware that it's too weak right now. We're like, well, it'll be cooler if we release the new updated visual gun and buff it at the same time, so that everybody wants to pick it up.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I was kind of like thinking about it, like the way it feels right now, like the sound, the recoil, and everything like that. Aside from the damage, it almost feels more like an LMG type gun. And I know you're kind of going for, I feel like we sound like a broken record, always comparing it to Halo. But like the SMG in Halo, it had that. It was like very high rate of fire, low accuracy. Or like if you didn't
which Halo are you thinking?
Halo 2.
Halo 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like with the way it is right now, it almost feels like more of an LMG rather than an SMG.
You pull the trigger and you're smacking yourself in the face with it.
Right. I totally agree. I mean, I definitely think reducing recoil so it's easier to use. I'd like to see it, still be sort of the same idea of like this really high rate of fire, low accuracy, kind of weak gun.
Yeah.
But I agree, right now it's too much. So I'd like to increase its accuracy a lot, reduce recoil a lot, still have it, fairly less accurate than the assault rifle, but not so much so that it's like worthless unless it's shotgun range. And then I think, if we can do that drastically so that it's kind of this short to mid range gun, then, we can almost make it even slightly weaker than it is. But we'll see. We'll play around with it.
Yeah, I was about to say, even really just if the recoil, like you said, the recoil lower, and even the I would say like the bloom or the bloom reticle of it, you could just make it a little bit bigger, so that way it makes you have to focus even closer to the player to nail every bullet. I think it would be great, because as Fox made it clear, when you pull the trigger, it goes flying in the air. As a mouse, you can kind of start getting used to that recoil pattern. Whereas a controller, you might as well just throw the controller out the window, because there's no way you're pulling your thumb down and dragging it off to the side and, trying to watch strafing and everything. That's for me, I picked it up as a joke to just see how well I could do with it. Because that was I'm gonna just running guns a-blazing kind of gun.
I'll say right now, we feel pretty good about all of the weapons except the SMG, and the battle rifle also I think needs a little bit of work. But other than those, we kind of feel like every gun is in a pretty good place where it serves its purpose. It's fun. It's worth picking up.
I would highly agree.
That's kind of hilarious, because when I was playing, I thought that the SMG was actually the most fun to play with. Maybe not necessarily the best gun, but I liked the risk factor of it. Like, you knew you had to like be in the right situation to use it. But when you
Right.
got in that right situation, it was so satisfying to just mow somebody down with it.
Yeah. It's just
But
like it's in
It is
kind
a
of
little bit
weird-
too much like the shotgun in that regard, I suppose.
Right. But it's almost like when would you ever pick up an SMG over a shotgun?
No.
You know,
Right.
it's basically you're only going to beat someone with a shotgun if you have an SMG if you're, between 15 and 20 feet away. But if you're within 15 feet, you lose. And if you're further than 20 feet, then you might as well switch guns. Like,
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, fair enough. It's
So-
really good to hear that y'all are still like really working on balancing the weapons,
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
finding that perfect feel.
Yeah, sometimes I feel
Um,
like some developers just make a gun, they like it so much, and then when people comment about it, they're like, it's still good. And I'm just like, no.
Working as intended.
Yeah.
By the way, here's some skins.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty much how everything works.
Sorry.
You're good.
So I had a few kind of like comments or suggestions, I guess, for in terms of the map design. It'd be nice whenever you go to any kind of the maps, wherever you are, it still kind of looks the same in some maps, especially like Tundra. You're just like, I have no idea which corner of the map I am. Is my spawn over
Right.
here? Did I spawn over here first? I think could be a really nice thing to have like some kind of differentiating details, whether it
Definitely.
be just like
Yeah, so I-
colors or landmarks or stuff like that.
Yep. So that's all being addressed.
Okay.
So hopefully this will be done in the next week, actually. But
Nice.
for our July 21st, July 22nd playtest, we're going to have a couple of major updates. So we've really expanded the team. This started off as like 4 people. And then after we got funding a few months ago, we've just been hiring more artists. So there's like 19 of us now, actually.
Great.
And so we are in the midst of totally redoing all of every map, basically. So some more than others, but right now, Outpost, the space map, that is looking like 100 times different. So one of the things we wanted to address on every map, starting with Outpost, is exactly what you said. So there's a red side, there's a blue side, there's numbers so that you can say like, okay, this is I'm in red 2, I'm in red 1, I'm in red 3, whatever.
Sweet. That sounds awesome.
So call outs like that, because I know how important that is in Halo and every esport.
Oh, yeah.
And then Olympus is the next map we are revamping. That one is probably in a better state than Outpost, but pretty much every map is getting a total overhaul to fit sort of our new style of this kind of futuristic WWE like arena shooter type of. So envision like scoreboards that have the actual score on them.
that'd be
Big
so
lights,
cool.
big speakers. Yeah. So very like arena-y, which I think is going to be a big upgrade.
That is
All right.
very cool. I like
Yeah.
that.
So yeah. So even I mean I'd say right now our best maps looks wise are Pantheon and Dorado, the outdoor one, and then the kind of gold one. But even those two are going to get sort of this gladiator, futuristic, sporty feel to them. So
I like that.
Cool.
That's cool.
Very
I just
nice.
have one more question. I don't know if this has come up before, if you guys are thinking about it, but user created maps with a big
Yeah.
question mark.
Yeah, that's what Forge mode was when I put it.
I mean, it's something I would love to add at some point. I highly doubt we'll have time to do that by launch. But it's I love Forge, and it's obviously something that helps a game live for a long time. It's fun. You get to play more maps. So I would definitely like to add that at some point.
All right, cool. Because I know that was one of the things I never really got into the competitiveness of Halo. It was just kind of like before my time. I wasn't as competitive like the story mode, but the Forge mode and like the user created maps, the games people would come up with. That's what kept me coming back to Halo, and what like kept just like the fun going, even when you weren't like a super competitive player. It was just that mode was so much fun.
Yep. Yeah. Totally.
All right, so I actually have a few questions. One of them we already answered was the objectives, CTF, oddball, demolition, ideas of. I know we personally talked in person, Ian, about if the flag can go through the portal, if it can't go through the portal. If we did oddball, can that go through the portal? which I believe Oddball should, but Flag shouldn't.
Oddball should, Flag shouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, we're both on the same page. I love it. So that kind of is over and done with. The other questions I have is, do you have any weapons that you haven't announced or released yet that you're thinking of adding, and including grenades? Are there going to be different kinds of grenades, or just one frag style grenade?
Mm-hmm. So definitely yes to both of so weapons, we're going to probably add somewhere between 1 and 3 new weapons. So the next one that we're for sure adding, the only thing that is like officially announced, is we're adding a plasma rifle. Let's see. This is the concept for it. This is not an actual mesh. This is just a concept. But what I'd like to sort of get the meta to turn into would be like the SMG is a little bit more longer range than it currently is, and then this plasma rifle is sort of like the Doom plasma rifle, if you played that. So it's sort of shooting like energy balls that are really do a lot of damage, but it's somewhat slower moving projectiles. So up close it's deadly, but further away not so much, because people can just move out of the way. And then, we're definitely going to add at least one more weapon after this, because we have 7 right now. This would be 8. I think getting to 10 would be a great number. So I'm thinking something like a rail gun, where you got to charge it up, and it's a one-shot kill if you do charge it up and land the shot. And who knows? There's plenty of other ideas we have, but I would bet that we do this, a railgun, and some sort of other funky thing. And then for grenades, we actually experimented with frag grenades a few months ago and didn't really like the way they played.
Okay.
And that's the nice thing about the alpha, is you can try stuff and get rid of it and change it. And the reason we didn't like it is, if you think about this versus Halo is a lot slower paced. I think shooting mechanics wise, we're very similar, but Halo, you have these close quarter rooms and very slow moving players, so you can really cut people off or hit them with a grenade. And for our game, it's so fast paced. You also have a jetpack, so you can kind of just boost your way away from it, and you can portal away from it. So it sort of made the grenades not all that effective. So what we were thinking, because we want to have some sort of counter to portals, was having an EMP grenade, where it will disable a portal, or it'll disable nearby portals on impact, and it will disable maybe your jetpack temporarily. Perhaps, haven't decided about that. We'll have to see how it plays.
Nice. So like using grenades is more like a utility rather than just a DPS.
Right. Yeah. And
I have
maybe
another idea for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you want to just throw it down, you can also have a trap nade, because it's something that Kyle was going to ask you before. Maybe a trap nade where you could throw it on a portal, and if the person runs through it, they can't shoot a portal for like 5 seconds or something like that.
Right. Well, I think, the EMP grenade could serve that purpose too, right? It could disable your portal gun, not just portals.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I'm thinking.
Okay.
And maybe, we can see how far we want to go. Kind of the extreme would be, if it really disables everything, it would disable your portal, disable your portal gun, disable your jetpack, and disable the portal wall that it hit.
Oh, wow.
So we'll see if the last one happens. But
I think that all sounds awesome. I
like the portal wall. I think I would have a lot of fun with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I like that y'all are thinking about the like utility items. I did have a question about that with a couple of like ideas just to share. Some sort of shield, like that's not the most exciting thing, but either like a stationary shield that you could use as cover in certain situations. One that I thought would be really interesting would be some sort of like handheld portal shield. Where if someone shoots a rocket at you, you throw up this portal shield that lasts like a second, and it sends that rocket through a portal that is somewhere else based on some sort of criteria. Just kind of things that are just kind of game changers. Maybe like an overcharge for your jetpack so that you can boost longer. but just temporary buff type equipment.
Yeah. All things on our radar. Nothing we're for sure going to do, but a lot of things that we plan to experiment with in our alpha.
Excellent.
All right,
I'm
sweet.
very happy
Yeah,
to
I
hear
think
about
kind of the idea behind the utilities is like when
The only
people have
thing,
these,
sorry, I'll say one last thing. The only thing we're not going to do is we're not going to have. We want it to be an even playing field like Halo. So there's never going to be okay, I'm going to start with this loadout, or I'm going to start with this ability.
that.
If whatever we add, if it's overshield or speed boost or defensive portal thing, whatever, like it's going to be something that you have to pick up on the map, or everybody starts
Excellent. Excellent.
yeah, I think that's what we all had in mind.
Yeah, Halo
Yeah.
Reach tried that, and that was a nightmare.
Yeah,
class systems are so hard to balance.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not
Well,
worth it.
it's just clutter in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
I had a question about more. I guess it comes to the original thing that I was talking about, where like notification or something like that. I was wondering, are you guys planning to add like a voice to like domination? Because I know you have like the King of the Hill, like hill controlled hill or
Yeah.
whatever. Are you planning to do a domination one, like
Yeah. of
be
course.
taken, be lost? Okay.
So, yeah. We just haven't. That was the last game mode we added, so we haven't recorded.
Oh,
for that
okay.
Yet.
Yeah,
Cool.
Those
We
are things
actually-
that
Yeah.
those
We
are
actually
things that
have-
are coming with development. I'm sorry.
Right.
Come with development. Like we're still in the alpha stage here, so a lot of the things that you can pretty much assume are going to be on its way.
Yeah. Any of the obvious things you can assume will make it to the game. By launch,
I always
so.
like to just reassure, because people have said that to me, and then like they're like, "Oh, I missed that," and I'm like, "But I thought it was obvious." So I always try to ask that. Another thing I did have an option or a question about. I know you're talking about revamping maps. Are you planning to bring in more maps variety for like 4v4, 6v6, 8v8? Are you planning to add? And are you planning to actually add a single player campaign, or is it just going to be full on MOBA style Halo?
Almost certainly no campaign.
Okay.
The extent of the closest thing we'll get to a campaign, if anything, would be like a revitalized tutorial that sort of
Mhm.
has. I mean, ideally, we'll have some sort of like one mission thing where it kind of sets up the backstory, and you go into training, and then you go train doing the tutorial, and then you go practice your first match, and then from then on, it's like, all right, now it's just multiplayer. And then, but we do have bots. I don't know if you knew that. So for
Oh, yeah, I've been playing with
practicing
them.
purposes, or if somebody quits mid-game, they'll fill. So that's the closest thing to single player we'll get. And then map-wise, probably not, at least at launch. We are going to add more maps, but we probably want them to sort of stay within the size that they currently are, which
Okay.
what we're thinking is like 4v4 for competitive, 5v5 for ranked, or sorry, for non-ranked.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that we would do that is what we've seen is beginners who pick up the game for the first time and aren't that great with portals and just want to sort of get used to the game. 5v5 works better because there's just, you're not teleporting so much. And whereas for 4v4, when you get, or for good players, 5v5 is way too crowded because the good players are portaling all over the place and getting back into battle immediately. And so it's sort of balancing that, hardcore competitive strategicness versus like, just a casual run and gun chaos.
Yeah. Speaking of portals, are you guys planning to just continuously from now on to have instant portals, or were you thinking maybe adding an option to have like a buffer where like once you land a portal, like not the portal gun itself would be limited, but like once you land a portal on one wall and then the other wall, there's like a buffer for like 3 seconds to make you really have to think, do I want a portal here or not? Or are you guys planning to just keep it instant all the time?
We're going to keep it instant all the time.
Okay.
There's already so much complexity to that mechanic.
Yeah.
We don't want you to have to, if you're moving quickly through the air and you just sort of barely miss your shot or don't quite place it in the right spot, we don't want to punish you and say, sorry, you got to wait 3 seconds to pull off this jump. We want to encourage risk taking. That's why there's no fall damage. we want you to utilize these portals to the best of your ability, because there's so much depth to it that any sort of restrictions are just unnecessary.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I think the instant portals opens up a lot of strategic possibilities. For instance, my favorite happening during the entire alpha that I played was when I was chasing a guy, chasing my buddy, and he went through his portal, and in the time from him going through his portal, he was able to replace the portal where he came out of. And he set a trap, and I followed him through, and I fell off the level. And it was the most amazing, hilarious thing ever. I was kind of wondering if you all have in mind, like, setting up more trap portal walls like that to be used in that sense.
Yeah, I think we should. I mean, I think right now there's 2 maps where you can do that pretty well. Olympus and Outpost.
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, it's kind of hard to do that on like an indoor map without having to hit. But there's a lot of stuff you can do. Yeah. So, but that is one of the most satisfying ways to kill somebody else.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So another question is, when are you guys planning? I'm more than likely sure you're planning to add replays and spectator mode. When would we see that? Would that be in the alpha and betas, or is that just going to be in the full release?
Hopefully I will have spectator mode done by August 10th, because we're going to the Game On Expo in Arizona, and they're going to do like a little esports tournament for our game. So
write that down, guys. We need to go.
So in theory, I will have that implemented by August 10th.
Sweet.
Excellent and good to know. Because I'm hoping, as RBG Esports, even though we are a competitive team, we're also an esports coordinating event company, whatever you want to call us. We were really hoping we would also become one of your main guys to go to and be like, hey, like, you guys want to hold an event online, and we'll help you host it. That's something we'd be very, very, very interested in. For someone like me who talks about Halo way too much. This game,
he could finally get it out of his system.
Oh, I can get it out of my system. I can cast it. I can play it. I can scream about it. Oh, it's gonna be amazing. One of the questions that I was very curious about, are you guys planning to have dedicated servers? Do you have more plans for esports in the future, community, non-dedicated? I don't know if you had any plans for that stuff.
Yeah, so we actually do have dedicated already. The last playtest, what we do is we'll typically do like some big playtests and some small ones in between. So our next big playtest is July 21st and 22nd. So for that, we'll have, full-on matchmaking, dedicated servers, and as well as many other updates. And hopefully by then we'll actually have our competitive 1 to 50 ranking system implemented.
All right.
So, but in between these bigger playtests, we will do these sort of smaller ones where it's like, we want to test something specific, and we also just want to keep the community engaged. So like a few days ago on Saturday, that was a small playtest. That for those, we typically don't bother putting the dedicated servers up. We just do custom games. And so for custom games, it's just easy to say, you can host your own game and people can join. But always for like match-made games, those will use dedicated servers.
Excellent. And I'm going to say I have 2 last questions. 1, are you planning to release this for console at any time? And 2, when was the projection of the full release again? I don't remember if we mentioned it.
So the projection for the final PC launch is Q1 2019. So probably like February. And then, yes, we definitely want to come to console eventually. It's just something that we haven't really had time to look into yet because, we got to get the PC launch down. And maybe there's a small chance if we make good progress and we look into it. And I mean, that's the nice thing about Unreal Engine is they do make life easier when it comes to porting. So potentially it's not too hard of a task and we'll be able to do a simultaneous launch, but I would say unlikely. Most likely, we'll do a PC launch, focus on that, and then a few months later try to come to console.
Okay, cool. I like that. Gentlemen, do you have any other questions for Ian?
Kyle, you have anything?
I have one final question for me. Battle Royale mode when?
We actually did for April Fools, we did a joke.
Oh no.
We did a post. We said we've decided that we are going to get rid of portals, and we're going to have 100 players, and most people were able to figure it out that we were joking because we had a link with the updates, and if you clicked on the link, it was like April Fools. But we had some people in our Discord actually get really upset because they're like, oh great, another battle royale. You guys are. It's like,
oh gosh.
Yeah, I read something about that in the Discord, and I was just like, no. I honestly just disregarded it. I'm like, nah, that's not real.
Yeah, that definitely won't happen.
All right.
Anyway,
Excellent.
I got to get going, guys.
Yes.
It was a pleasure chatting with you. I love talking about this stuff with old Halo guys. So
Yeah. And if anyone that is watching this, this is a pre-recorded, but we're playing it live on the stream. If you have any questions, make sure to tweet at RBG_esports. Use the hashtag RBGcast. You can tweet at us for it, or you can just tweet directly to Wormhole Wars. I believe that's the Twitter tag. You could tweet directly at that, or go to the Discord.
Or join our Discord. It's just discord.gg/Wormhole Wars.
Yep.
So feel free to message us and ask questions, and we will have plenty of opportunities to give out alpha keys too. So definitely head to Discord.
They're actually really responsive too. Like the other day, I would just voiced the frustration that I'm always working during the playtest, and I'm like, oh please. And then in 5 minutes, someone was like, oh, we have a big playtest this date. I'm like, all right then.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. Ian, thank you so much for joining us once again. I'm hoping when we decide to do another podcast, I know we're planning to do one every month, so possibly in the near future we can have you back on the podcast and talk about the progression we've seen. So
totally.
I'm very excited. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you everyone else for joining us. We're going to be taking a quick break, and we'll be continuing on with our first episode podcast after a short break. Don't go anywhere. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, everyone, thank you very much for being a little patient for the 2-minute wait as we did a quick costume change again to the future. Yeah, so that was awesome to do a cool interview with Ian, one of the people who developed, who is developing, I should say, Wormhole Wars, the lead developer. I'm very excited to see where Wormhole Wars will go, and I'm excited to see what else we will see and get to play. I just can't wait for the game to be released, honestly. I'm
It's a
so
lot of
excited
fun.
for that. Seriously, I enjoy it so much. I can't wait for it to come out. So yeah, without further ado, let's move on to our last thing we were going to be talking about, which you see on your screen, which is RBG Esports, where we were and where we will be. Kind of a recap of what has been going on since RBG Esports has started. So 3 of us that you see here on the screen, Nick, Mike, and I got to go to DreamHack Austin. And it was a lot of fun. We got to meet a lot of people. I actually apparently shook Bacon's hand, and we didn't even know each other. We were sitting next to another big Rocket League player, and Bacon was standing there, and they introduced me to him and said, like, yeah, this guy's starting a cool Rocket League company community thing. You should check him out. So I was like, hi, I'm Josh, and Bacon shook my hand. And then about maybe a few weeks later, I'm on the phone with him, go like, yeah, dude, that was me that you shook hands with, and now I'm your CEO. And he was like, wait, what? That was you? What? He was so mind blown that like half of our conversations when we were trying to talk about the contract was just him going, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So yeah, let's talk about what we saw, what happened at DreamHack. One of the things is we met Ian from Wormhole Wars. We got to try it out. I had a lot of fun trying it out. It was a little tough because I never got time to adjust my controller, but I know, Nick, you got to play it, and we enjoyed it a lot. Mike took a few pictures of us, but while we were also doing that, we weren't just fooling around there. We were actually competing. We played in the BYOC competition, Nick and I, and we had one of our friends and fraternity brother, Killer Gunfish, shout-outs to Killer Gunfish for helping out, and we made it to loser bracket round 3. Not bad. I honestly didn't think...
It is fair to note, the second round, we beat the first team in the winners bracket. The second round, we went against, we mentioned it before, Finesser McFlex. I forget his team name for the item. But we lost to them, and they ended up winning, so we don't feel that bad about it.
Yeah, we got knocked into the loser bracket by the team who won, which is friends of Zeus and Bacon, who were also there, who was not able to get into the competition because there's
some hoopla with Discord and Battlefy, and
even though we were
some
all there
stuff.
in person, they couldn't even communicate with us in Discord. So yeah, there was a lot of hoopla. The competition, the Rocket League tournament, BYOC tournament, was supposed to start at like 3. We didn't even start till like 7 p.m.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, I drank an energy drink to get myself pumped, and then by the time we started, I was falling asleep. I was like, man, I don't even want to play anymore. I'm so tired. In the meantime, Swan was also competing in the HCT, the Hearthstone something.
the Hearthstone Grand Prix. At DreamHack, it's called the Grand Prix.
Grand Prix, that's
if
right.
If it's a standalone event, it's a championship tour stop.
There we go. Yeah.
So I was competing in the Grand Prix.
And how'd that go?
Yeah, how did that go?
Marginally well. I'm placed in the top half not top half. I think I
Placed in top 100.
Maybe I might have been like 98th, 99th, but still
top
it was
100.
250. It was a 256 to 300 player tournament. For my first legitimate tournament event, it went as well as it could have. I played against Run, he said. I played against Manny Show, two players we now have on the team. Got to sit down with Innovation, meet a lot of people. It was a lot of fun. It was a good experience. A lot of our takeaways from DreamHack Austin was, wow, this is a really good experience just being at an esports centered event. Seeing the PUBG Invitational, seeing the DreamHack CSGO Open, even the collegiate Rocket League stuff that Nick and I got to watch a little bit of, the BYOC events. While people may complain about how the BYOC events were run, the act of doing them and being in them and being around all that stuff was super cool and really informative, and it was a really cool event.
The BYOC section was huge, by the way.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
insane.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I literally, because when I went to PAX East earlier this year, there was a BYOC section, and it was maybe like 1/20th of like the BYOC section at DreamHack. It was it blew my mind. It was funny. I've been going to competitions, and I've been to esport competitions, LAN events, and all that stuff plenty of times. So when I walked in and I saw the big stages, I was like, that's cool. This is great. I missed this kind of environment. This is it felt nice. I was like back at home. The PUBG main stage blew my mind though.
Oh yeah,
because that's something I've never seen. 16 teams, right?
The first time, yeah, it was 16 teams. I was the first.
Two floors. Two
Yeah.
floors.
So out of the three of us that went, I was the first one on the floor because my flight just got in super early. I checked in, hit the floor, started walking around. I run into Jason Lake, the CEO of Complexity Esports. We talked for like 2 seconds, and then we both go, "That is insane!" Pointing at the DreamHack thing, because it's there's a big like projector screen, and
Right in the
then
middle.
both sides, and then on both sides is double decker 4-team stacks, four like enough space for 4 dudes.
8 on each sides.
8, yeah, it was
Yeah.
insane just watching it. It was the biggest thing at the event, and it was super cool to see. Like the amount of effort that goes into production for these things is it puts it on level with television, and that is now that we have like the Universal Open for Rocket League that's being put together by NBC, we may be seeing even more esport type events on regular cable. Like that's insane to me.
I think
I mean, we
Fridays
have E-League.
on like TNT or something. There's like just a dedicated esports show that they've already got signed for Friday
man.
nights.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and E-League has been really pushing in TBS to really do much. So it has been awesome to see that stuff. And I'm excited. I'm really upset though, because I was really hoping I could be there on Friday with you guys in the morning, but I flew in at like Friday night at like 8 o'clock at night, and that was just a miserable. No, I flew out at 8. I landed at like 12. Got back to the
You got there
hotel.
really late.
Tried to get food. My food never showed up, and it was like 3 a.m. waiting for my food when I ordered it at like 1. And then the front desk guy was like really nice. He was just like, "Here, take this. We're gonna throw it out anyway. So here's some free food." Which the sandwiches were banging, by the way. It was just like he felt so bad that I was sitting there for like an hour waiting for Uber Eats to send my McDonald's. So yeah, that was a very interesting night. But yeah, I'm very excited about everything, and I just really wish I got to see you guys, like see your first reactions. You know, because like I said, esports world, it's a world I'm used to. If anything, I go wide-eyed when I go to like places like PAX East or cons, because I don't normally go to those. I usually just stick to like MLG. Like I've been to a few MLG events, and like that was it. Like I never went to a con, I never went to a PAX, and then my first PAX, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And of course, there's a spot at PAX called PAX Arena, and you know where to find me, because PAX Arena is all based on esports. So I was already over there the whole time. But yeah, I think it was cool, and I really wish I got to see you guys, your first reactions.
Yeah.
But
Just
before
like the quality of the main stages were just so good. It was just super cool to see.
And before we continue, I'd like to do a quick shout out. Thank you I am Lemmy for the follow. Fox McCumulus, thank you for the 300 bits, even though you're right here. Shin Raven, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Clutch coming in. Beard Runner as well. Thank you for the 100 bits. Nolanova, thank you for the 12 bits in total. And FFC Squall, thank you for the 301 bits. And
It's like Price of Right style cheer.
Yeah, taking the lead by 1. So let's see who can beat him. But yeah, let's continue with this. So we just enjoyed all of it in general, but we have a few more things coming up. I mean, we know our Rocket League players right now. Mini Manny 14, thank you very much for the follow. We have our Rocket League players competing right now, which quick update, they are now 2-2.
Yeah.
So it's not looking good. I don't think they're going to be able to make it to tomorrow. They're not going to qualify for the next day, which is okay because these guys have only been teaming for like together, I think like 2-3 weeks now. They won their first tournament together in the Sway RL, but the competition wasn't too crazy hectic, whereas this one is a lot harder, but I think it's showing them a good eye-awakening moment of what they're going to be dealing with in the near future.
Oh, yeah.
So it's good to see them still sticking in there. I mean, the fact that they're even 2-2 is good.
Well, not just that, they were like a goal and a half, 2 goals away from being 3-1.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like that puts them right in the mix of qualification for day 2. So, and it's the teams they're losing to are teams that they're either right like old rival series players that aren't on a team right now, or they're global leader like global 100 top players that aren't signed to teams. Like when we started the podcast, I want to make it very clear that like this competition, the climb through Rival Esports, is chock full of near pro ready talent. Like this is a very good tune-up proving ground area, and the fact that they aren't getting complete. I mean, yeah, they're getting. I think we're 6-6 in games played, but we're not getting blown out of the water. Like if we're losing by a goal, we're not getting 6-0'd in game 1 of a series. Like it's been really good to see them play.
Yeah. So, I'm just happy that they're playing. They're doing pretty well. It's something we were excited to see. So good on them. The next thing that RBG Esports will be is next weekend. Our Hearthstone players and our very own COO, Miswan Jr. above me, is heading out to Cali. They're going to be going to Oakland, California at the ESA or Esports Arena for the Blizzard Hearthstone exclusive event, which is the HCT. So
yeah, we'll be.
Swan, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we're going to be at the Hearthstone Championship Tour stop in Oakland. Tournament play is going to be the 14th and 15th. So the team and I are going to arrive on Friday the 13th, check in the hotel, probably grab dinner, hang out. And then it is a grind fest of matches on the 14th and 15th. All of Swiss play will be... I guess Swiss play is going to go all day on Saturday and into like the morning on Sunday.
It's not like DreamHack where like there's a bunch of other stuff. There's a lot of like indie game type things. There's
this is going to be pure. This is purely Hearthstone. It's going to be a ton of games, a ton of matches, a lot of opportunities to meet people. I'm registered to compete. I'll probably play. I'll play every match I can. If it gets to a point where like I'm going to get blown out, I'll probably DQ out and try to take some meetings. There's a couple free agents I have on. Ooh, my chair. I have a couple free agents on my list to work with that I want to meet with and have a discussion with about a possible future. So that'll be super cool. But yeah, it'll be round of 8 stream on Sunday. So maybe Innovation can pull out some magic and be in the top 8. And then we'll be back we'll be flying back on Monday. And so I'll be back in Dallas on that 16th of July. And we get ready for, I guess, August.
Yeah. August.
Well, we have one of our own events.
Sorry, I blanked out really fast.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, we'll have one of our main events in July, and then our next main event in August, and then our last main event in September, which then also in September we'll be heading out to Montreal, Canada, for Montreal DreamHack, the 7th to the 9th of September. And our Hearthstone players will be competing there. Our Rocket League players will be competing in the BYOC event. I will not be competing this time. I mean, if 2 other staff members go and they want to compete, maybe. But I kind of want to do some media work. I kind of want to be taking pictures and videoing our guys so we can put more, I guess, stuff out for you guys, more POVs, stuff like that. I love complexities like POVs, and I would love to do something like that as well for our company. Yeah, content. That's the word. Thank you.
Yeah, the word is content.
Oh yeah, Kyle, you're still here.
Yeah.
You've just been
Man,
quiet. You've been
as
quiet
few
this whole
words
time,
as I
man.
can say while being the most efficient. I mean,
Exactly.
whatever I got to do.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Kyle, are you two, Nick and Kyle, are you two planning to head over to Montreal?
The way it looks
It's-
right now, probably not.
It's a
Okay.
possibility
For
for
me,
me.
at least.
There's still some scheduling that needs to be worked out. If we can
Mhm.
iron out like the dates of the Rocket League tournament itself,
Mhm.
then
Yeah,
yeah. So
that's really falling on
It's a
DreamHack
maybe
right
for
now.
me.
DreamHack has not released any data or information as far as the BYOC events. There's some stuff out right now for PUBG, and we're on the fence about participating in the PUBG event. But other than that, nothing for Rocket League has been announced.
Yeah, so once we find that out, because one of our players might not be able to go because he'll have started college, and we told them school comes first. If they can
Yeah,
get
if-
like an excuse or something to go, that'd be great. But school is more important at the moment.
if you need me to sub, then I'll definitely find a way to be
Mhm.
there when I need to be there. So
Yeah, Kyle right now is our designated sub for the RBG Esports Rocket League team. He's a very good player himself. Kyle's actually been the one kind of teaching Nick and I how to play more Rocket League. So we've been all sticking together, and you'll be seeing the three of our names in a very exclusive event that we'll be hosting called Symphonian Series. We'll be going into season 3, and Kyle, Nick, and I will be teaming up together to live the legacy as best team. Yeah. Yeah. And then after that, in November 16th to the 18th, we'll be heading over to DreamHack Atlanta in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's gonna be nice for me because New Jersey, it gets cold. So in November, we're going to be heading down south, so it'll feel a little nicer for me. I'm excited for that. Not a lot of information coming out of that because it's a lot farther down in the year. So if any of you guys that are watching here on Twitch or on the YouTube, I'm sounding like an old man, the YouTube.
On the VOD.
On the VOD and YouTube, thank you. And if you want to come hang out with us, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to meet the rest of the RBG community. Anyone that wants to get involved in esports. If you have any questions on how we started, I know we're still very young, but I mean, all part of our company is to help not just grow players, but anyone in the esports world. So we'll be doing whatever we can. We hope by the end of this year, at least one of our players / teams, we will take at least top 8 or higher. We definitely think it's possible.
I think that's a real like in Hearthstone. That's a real possibility right now.
Even a Rocket League team for the BYOC team, I think it's a possibility. It will look better for the RBG team. With that being said, we may or may not be looking for a Fortnite team. Just throwing it out there. As much as we're all cringing
in our heads right now.
as much as we're all cringing because a lot of us are actually not fans of Fortnite. Sorry for Fortnite fans.
Sorry, Epic Games, make a better game, please.
Yeah, it's just too hyped.
I'm gonna go back
But,
to playing PUBG where I can't even get.
Gonna be playing Realm Royale. Thank you. I think that's the best game. I'm gonna be the next Realm Royale pro. Just saying. No, just kidding.
I'm just waiting for Wormhole Wars Battle Royale.
Yeah.
My main competitive esport.
Oh
There you go.
man. Oh man. No. With that, so with that will be wrapping up 2018 at least. Looks like we don't really have a lot of questions. If you have a question in the chat, go right ahead and send something to us now. Otherwise, thank you very much for everyone watching. Kyle, Mike, Nick, thank you for joining me for our first podcast. I hope you all enjoyed it. Like I said, we plan to do this monthly, at least try to get once a month going, and then might not always be the four of us. There'll probably be other people involved, and I might not be hosting every podcast. So you'll get more chances of seeing some of our other staff as well as some of our other players who will be joining us on the podcast.
Yep. They won't always be this long either.
Yeah, no. We were trying to smack on a few things, big thing, because we were also making announcements and stuff like that and introductions. What's it called? Do you guys have anything else you would like to say before we wrap this up?
Not really. Follow RBG _ Esports on Twitter. We're going to make every announcement as far as when our teams will be competing, when our players are going to be at events. If we're at like DreamHack or at a con or at a or at any kind of esports event, that's going to be the easiest way to get in contact with us, so we can do a meet and greet or do some kind of like media day event and get you guys in the same room with players and personalities from RBG Esports. That's going to be hands down the easiest way to interact with us on like a every day, every hour, every minute of every day in Random's life kind of a thing. Just know, if you tweet at RBG Esports, it goes directly to Randomize.
Everything.
Abuse it.
Everything.
If you tweet, if you hit up our Instagram, it goes straight to me as well. The only thing that you can bother Swan, if you want to help me out and you want to bother Swan, go ahead and start spamming the crap out of the Facebook. Well, oh wait, never mind. That also goes to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if you go on our website and you start playing around with it, I probably will see it too somehow. We don't even have a way to bother us besides contact. But even that, I don't pay attention to. I mean, you're more than welcome to contact us. But yeah, no, please, go ahead. Spam my phone. I don't mind it. Go and destroy everything. Scroll down, and everything you need is down below in our panels. Or you can go to rbgesports.com for more information and news. You can check that all out there. I would be very excited to talk to more of you, so please just reach out to us. With that, we are going to be pretty much wrapping up tonight. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you for everyone who subscribed. This was actually the first time our channel was live with the sub button, so thank you for the 7 people who did Twitch Prime subs. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the bits tonight. Thank you for the follows. The next time the stream will go live, it will be a Rocket League event, which will be the tune-up event on July 13th. You know, so it'll be a bad luck day. So something, yeah, and I will, I don't know if I'm going to be around. Who knows? But apparently I'm not running that event. So it makes me a little nervous because I'm the one who runs pretty much everything you see on the streams as well. And Kyle here is telling me I have to start letting go. And of course, it's on the bad luck day.
We got you, man. It'll be fine. Just like
it's
in Rocket
Friday
League,
13th,
I'm like,
man.
It's fine. As we're getting scored on, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's fine as we're losing, and my rank went from champ 1 to diamond 2. It's fine. It's fine. Your hair is graying and you're pulling the hair out. It's fine. This is my life every day, guys. This is what it's like talking to my coworkers.
Everything is fine.
Everything is fine. I love these guys. Building's burning. Big smile. Everything's fine. So with that, thank you very much once again, Kyle, Nick, Mike. Thank you for joining me. I was your host, Josh. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We are going to get out of here for the night. Everyone have a great night, and we'll see you at the next stream. Later.